Imagine a world where countries stand up against big organizations. That's exactly what happened recently with Nigeria and Angola. These two nations, both renowned for their oil production, are members of an elite club known as OPEC. But instead of playing by the rules, they've decided to challenge the status quo, standing tall against the organization's proposed oil quota cuts. It's a real David versus Goliath scenario, but this time, David has a double representation. Now you might be wondering, why are these two nations standing up to OPEC? Well, let's dive into the story. The stage is set for a showdown. The spotlight is on Nigeria and Angola, who are opposing OPEC's reduction in their crude oil production quotas. Now let's dive in and see what this heavyweight battle is all about. OPEC, a coalition of 23 oil-producing nations, led by Saudi Arabia, is feeling the heat as crude oil prices decline towards $80 per barrel. To counterbalance, they're asking members to reduce their oil production quotas, effectively sharing the burden of cuts. A fair proposition, you might think? Well, not everyone agrees. Enter our protagonists, Nigeria and Angola. These two nations are pushing back, refusing to lower their quota limits for 2024. Nigeria seeks a quota of 1.58 million barrels per day, while Angola proposes 1.18 million barrels per day. A bold stance considering the coalition's dependence on oil revenue to cover government spending. As the scheduled OPEC meeting on November 30th, 2023 looms, the stalemate remains unresolved, turning this into a high-stakes game of chicken. The stakes are high, the tension is palpable, but who will blink first? This isn't just about oil. It's about sovereignty, economic survival, and the balance of power. This standoff between Nigeria, Angola, and the Saudi-led alliance could send ripples through the global economy. The 23-nation coalition, heavily reliant on oil revenue to fund government spending, faces potentially costly repercussions if a consensus isn't reached. The balance of the scales could shift dramatically, impacting not just these nations, but the world at large. What do you think will happen next in this oil saga? Will our heroes hold their ground, or will they bend to the pressure? Only time will tell. Before we move ahead, let's take a moment to hear from our sponsor, Trending Now with Esther. Esther, a seasoned economist and geopolitical analyst, brings you the most current and insightful analysis on global trends and events. She has a knack for breaking down complex issues into easily understandable bites. In the context of our ongoing saga, Esther provides a unique perspective, shedding light on the economic and political implications of this oil standoff. She doesn't just report the news, she explains it. And right now, she's offering our viewers an exclusive, in-depth analysis of this oil quota showdown. So, if you're interested in understanding the world better, subscribe to Trending Now with Esther. Stay informed, stay ahead. Now back to our story. As we dive back into our tale, let's take a moment to appreciate the complexities of the situation. The oil quota showdown is not just a battle of numbers. It's a game of strategy, a test of wills, and a demonstration of power. Each country involved has its own unique set of challenges and advantages, its own motivations and fears. Some are driven by economic necessity, others by political ambition. Some are trying to protect their citizens, others to enhance their international standing. And each decision, each move in this high-stakes game can have far-reaching implications, not just for the countries involved, but for the entire world. As we navigate through this intricate web of interconnections, remember, the world is not as simple as it seems. And as you watch these events unfold, ask yourself, what would you do in their shoes? How would you navigate this complex situation? So stay tuned and subscribe to Trending Now with Esther for more insightful analysis on global trends and events. Keep yourself informed about the world beyond the headlines. Now let's see what happens next in our story.